Hey everybody, I'm Rick Beato. Recently I got a chance to sit down with pianist and composer Tigran Hamasyan. Tigran is a brilliantly innovative modern artist that also draws heavily from the folk traditions of his native Armenia. And this shows up in everything he does, both harmonically and rhythmically. You played me a folk singer before we started, so tell me about this.
Okay, so this is, I think this is a field recording of a woman named Maro Nalbandian. She is from this village called Balu, and it's a field recording that was recorded right there. I think it was in the 60s. It's a book, and there's 2 CDs included in the book, and she sings over 80 folk songs, just right there on the spot. And this is one of the songs. It's called the Red Blouse of My Beloved. And it's just an incredible example of metric modulation here, and she's like a drummer.
Samer bar desinava tere hayrigis chkhosetsajana sehima agu kaga dere hayrigis chkhosetsajana sehima gu kaga dere al buluzit mernim inshal buluzit mernim yaro koi gagaraz buluzit mernim ah yaro janduma sisi sarnes yaro janduma sisi sarnes Yaro janto imasrdi deres yana is gupachtin mernem al buluzit mernem shal buluzit mernem yaro igagaraz buluzit mernem potum barev gudas ganznis potum barev gudas ganznis inchegelini hemala hatnis yana es gupachtin mernem al buluzit mernem shal buluzit mernem yaro igagaraz buluzit mernem.
That's insane. It is so beautiful. Okay, so what is she doing there? Tell me about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a song in 6/8,
yeah,
but just because of the way the words fall,
yeah,
syllables, she just ends up singing like 5/6 just on the spot, and then right after that followed by 5/6, and then 4/6, and then just going back. I mean, she just does whatever with the time, whatever she wants, while really just keeping that internal clock going. And it's just incredible. I mean, she probably doesn't know how to read music, and it's just, it's so amazing to. There's not a lot of field recordings. Well, there's some field recordings, but not like real people singing this. Like, it's more rare. I've had the opportunity in Armenia to go to some villages where there's I've seen some older ladies singing. Sadly.
Do you hear about these people and people that you need to go check this woman out or something?
Oh yeah,
like
they're kind of like well known because they're so precious, and like musicologists, ethnomusicologists, like they know exactly where these jams are, So I've had the opportunity to like go listen to some folks singing, but I mean, these two women already passed, and there's only like few people really left, like at least in Armenia. People sing. I mean, there's the folk culture is like really vibrant in Armenia, but there's so much pop in it. I find there's like only a few ensembles, maybe like 1 or 2 ensembles really do it
like the
close enough.
Yeah,
close enough to the way it used to be like 100 years ago, that when there still wasn't pop music influence. Like I hear like modern like like proper, let's say, ensembles, famous ensembles singing. I can listen to the singers, and I'm like, man, that's just it. That's not what it's supposed to be. Like, there's like some ornaments, some little things that they do that just comes from pop, called like nowadays pop culture.
Yeah.
Pop music culture. That's really sad, but it is what it is.
You think it's just difficult to carry on the tradition because there's just not enough people doing it and passing along these songs?
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different world right now. I mean, it's important to understand that folk music it wasn't on the stage.
Yeah.
Every piece of music that was performed was for a specific celebration or a rite. So, for example, like every single aspect of making the bread is music written by these women who would make the bread, and they have specific songs for like beating the grain, making the dough, then like, you know, so it's a process, and it's you know, nowadays, you know, they put it on the machine and the bread is made.
Right.
You know, or like some of the oldest, I mean, according to ethnomusicologists, some of the oldest folk songs, not just in Armenia, is tied to agriculture, like plowing songs.
Sure.
So those are some of the most archaic songs. And now you have tractors.
Right.
It's done. It's like,
when you say field recordings, for people that don't know, it's just that people that go to places and record just with you know, we'll take a recorder out and they will do this to document things. I mean, somebody thought to go and record this woman,
right,
and knew that this was important to actually make a record of.
Yeah, it's Bedros Alahaidoyan. He's done so much for preserving Armenian music culture from specific regions like Van and this region of Balu. Yeah, it's great that thanks to these incredible scholars, we have these recordings and an analysis of all this music.
World culture affects people's music. You talked about pop music like that. I mean, was that fair to say that that pop music in Armenia today is similar to pop music in other?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was mentioning about finding, let's say, notes of like Rihanna in Armenian folk music. You know, it's cool, but you know, then it's like you find that from all the way from Japan to the U.S. and Russia to Armenia, whatever, you know, South America. Like it's these melodic elements, like ornaments, that, you know, it kind of is a world culture, but in a way, for me, it's sad. There's a foreign element that's not the regional element. You know, if it was a regional kind of thing, I mean, it's still staying within the regional influences, and it could stay kind of keep the tradition of the region at least. But like this, it's like kind of like globally like a one thing, and I don't know. At the same time, I'm happy that I can discover like all these different musics from around the world. But at the same time, when I go to listen to a specific music from a specific country that I discover, I really can't listen to all the all the stuff that has pop elements in it, you know. So I go to the roots of it. I find field recordings of, let's say, you know, whatever culture, like, you know, whether it's Iranian folk music or it's Greek or Japanese. You know, I've really tried to find the real thing, the real stuff, which means that that's where the value is. You know, like that's where you really understand and discover the culture.
Now, Armenia is landlocked, right? It's got the borders. We talked about this earlier. You have Turkey, you have Iran, you have Azerbaijan, and Georgia.
Right.
Those four countries. How do those countries, the music of their cultures intermix with Armenian music, or vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to millennia of exchange. I mean, there's so many little. Every single region has its own. The same song could be performed so many different ways depending on which region it goes, which region it is from. It has specific influences if it's close to, let's say, Iran. Specific influences if it's close to Georgia or Turkey or Azerbaijan. Like music from Artsakh, Nagorno-Karabakh, it's very different than music. Armenian music that comes from, let's say, Van region. So it's very, 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 very rich. And also the types of folk musics out there, you know, there's genres, so many genres within the folk music, which is also a thing. It also depends on the culture, you know, what cultural traditions there were. It goes back to, you know, ancient Assyria and Urartu, and it's very interesting. It's not just like recent thing, like these plowing songs. You know, God knows where they come from and how many, how much they changed and what kind of influences they had. I was just reading in the book about monodic Armenian music in the Hittite times, which is like 1500 BC.
Yeah.
Where they were digging for silver, and even that process, there were musicians singing mining songs, you know.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's so incredible when you read that. And like there's like written like information about like specifically for that occasion, there's these songs, they brought in these musicians or they got this tradition from another country nearby. So it's like God knows how many influences. It comes from such an old period, but it is a very rich region. And I, you know, for example, I love Georgian music and Iranian music. It's a lot of so many incredible artists out there, and I'm very much influenced by that. Georgian polyphony, you know, Iranian classical music.